Good day everyone, I am Stephanie Guilnawe and my group mates are Miss Mary Joy Millares, Miss Rodeline Concon, Miss Jana Sofia Fulgencio, Mr. Duwen Josh Lorica, Miss Anne Michelle Abuan, Miss Lemmy Rizal Prado, Miss Irish Pineda. The coverage of our report is Topic 2, Deep Project Planning. So, what is project planning? Project planning as a process is outward-oriented. It is concerned with deciding in advance what, when, how, and who will take the necessary action to accomplish established objectives. In this context, planning is pervasive management function which is accomplished by all levels in the project hierarchy. The difference being scope, detail, and magnitude of the effort. Planning forms for the foundation for future actions using the past as a guide. The purpose of this paper is to examine the project environment for planning, to consider the purpose of planning, to focus on the stages of project planning, to evaluate the elements of planning for the project, and to discuss the role of decision making in project planning. We all know that project planning is one of the most important stages of a project management life cycle. It gives direction for making decisions. It helps to achieve the objectives and also it will identify and offer solution to changes or problems.
Project organizations. Project organizations are often temporary structure. Projects are temporary endeavors and therefore, by definition, have temporary structure established by the people in the permanent organization to manage activities and resources to deliver specific objectives within predetermined time frames. Project organization uses specialists from entire program. Project organizations are headed by project managers. Project managers are responsible for planning, organizing, and directing the completion of the specific projects for an organization while ensuring these projects are on time, on budget, and within scope. They coordinate activities to streamline the workflows of the tasks. A project manager informs employees about who's responsible for each section of a project and its timeline. They monitor the schedules and costs, tracking of project metrics, progress, and associated tasks to ensure everything is completed on time, on budget, and according to project requirements and standards. Here is a sample of project organization. Permanent structure called matrix organization. Matrix organization draws personnel from various departments. Its advantages are it efficiently gathers people with special skills, flexible in nature, motivates personnel engaged in the projects, balances time, cost, and performance. Permanent matrix structure are centered on more enduring aspects of business operation, such as product lines and processes. It creates accountability, coordination, and continuity for the product as a whole, while enabling staff who generally have a direct supervisor who is not a product manager to be flexibly assigned where they are needed the most.
Project organization works best when first, work can be defined with a specific goal and deadline. Next is the job is unique or somewhat unfamiliar to the existing organization. Third is the work contains complex interrelated tasks requiring specialized skills. The work is temporary but critical to the organization. And lastly, the project cuts across organizational lines. Project organization works best when works can be defined with a specific goal and deadline. So it is important to have a specific goal and deadline because it will serve as a motivation to our team or even to ourselves to achieve our goal in a specific date or on time. So for example, is our teacher give us a task, project, or even an assignment, and we need to do it as soon as possible so that we will not be late to the given time that they give to us. The job is unique or somewhat unfamiliar to the existing organization. That's why they need to have a further study or research to know what are the things that they need to know and also the things that they need to do. The work contains complex interrelated tasks requiring specialized skills. So for example, here in the Matrix organization, which there have a four projects. So there are persons that was assigned to marketing, operations, engineering, and finance because they're the persons that was they are knowledgeable in that skills and in that department. The project is temporary but critical to the organization. So the project is temporary in nature and they are not an everyday business process. So once that the project is given to us, there are definitive start and end dates. Project always cuts across the regular organizational lines and structures within the firm. They do this because the projects needs to draw from the skills and talents of multiple professions and departments within the organization, and sometimes even the other organizations.
Let's move on to the role of the project manager. They are highly visible, responsible for making sure that number 1, all necessary activities are finished in order and on time. It is important for a project manager to be hands-on in order to monitor what activities are supposed to be achieved in day-to-day activities and to avoid any delays. Number 2, the projects comes in within the budget. The project manager should ensure that when building the project, its money expenditure, it should stick to its financial plan. Number 3, the project meets quality goals. As a project manager, you should commit to quality and share the commitment with your staff. By that, you can ensure that you and your team can deliver a good quality project to shareholders and to customers. Number 4, the people assigned to the project receive motivation, direction, and information. A project manager is a leader, and a leader does not just lead the department and manage the performance by just providing information and ideas. Managers are also expected to be the source of motivation for their subordinates.
Next, we have the ethical issues that arises in a project planning. First, we have the bid rigging, divulging confidential information to give some bidders an unfair advantage. Um, Example nito is, halimbawa mga competitors prior to the bidding ay nag-usap na kung kaninong company mapupunta yung isang project. Or nag-usap sila na dapat ganito lang yung amount to bid. In that case, rigged na ang isang bidding. Next, we have the low-balling contractors. Is trying to buy the project by bidding low and hope to renegotiate and cut corners. So, halimbawa, kukunin mo yung project, sasabihin mo sa nagpapagawa, 1 million kukunin na namin tong project. Then, nag-sign na kayo ng agreement. Tatay nagpapagawa ng sign na lahat ng kontrata. Then, at a later time, ang gagawin nung kumuha ng project is magdadagdag sila ng additional amount na usually napakalaki. So, walang magagawa yung nagpapagawa ng project, kundi magbayad na lang since they had an agreement na. Next, we have the bribery. It's offering, giving, receiving, or soliciting of any item of value to influence the actions of an official or other person in charge of a public or legal duty. This happens particularly on international projects. Self-explanatory, bribery is bibigyan ka ng gift or ng pera para sa isang favor, para magpagawa ng isang bagay. Next, we have expense account padding. It's to make unnecessary or fraudulent charges to one's company expense accounts for one's personal use. So, ito yung sa accounting, magkaiba ang personal account sa business account. Dapat daw magkahiwala yun. So, this is sa expense account padding. Yung personal expenses mo, charge mo sa company mo. So, tumataas yung sa expenses ng company mo. Tapos yung sa'yo, wala ka na expenses. Pero kung matalino ang isang accountant, makikita niya kung ano yung fraudulent na ginagawa mo. Huwag mong gawin yun. Next is use of substandard materials. Substandard meaning below the usual or required standard. Usually ginagawa to para hindi dahil mapababa ang expenses, pero gusto nilang malaki yung kita nila. Halimbawa, ang materials na gagamitin is 1 million, pero yung substandard materials ay 500,000 lang. So, in that case, 500,000 substandard materials, yung 500,000 mapupunta sa'yo. Gagawin mo siyang profit mo. Next is compromising health and safety standards. Compromising health, halimbawa sa isang factory na puro chemical, dapat may safety mask ang mga employer mo, kasi kung hindi, you're compromising their health and safety na din. Another example is yung mga construction workers. If they're not wearing proper PPEs, they're compromising their safety. Next, it's withholding needed information. Not all of information naman is kailangan i-disclose, but if badly needed and if needed talaga ng company, you do not withhold it and you share it with the company. Failure to admit project failure at close. So, ito yun yung parang ongoing na yung project, tapos alam mong hindi mo kayang gawin or parang nag-fail na siya pero hindi mo ina-admit. So, that is another ethical issue. Next, we have the work breakdown schedule. A work breakdown schedule or structure, or WBS, is a project management tool that takes a step-by-step approach to complete large projects with several moving pieces. By breaking down the project into smaller components, a WBS can integrate scope, cost, and deliverables into a single tool. While most WBSs are deliverable-based, they can also be phase-based. So, included in a schedule, work breakdown schedule is the levels, the project, the major task in the project, subtasks, the major tasks, and activities to be completed. So here we have an example, the company holiday party. Example, you are planning for a company holiday party. First, the initiation. This, you have to choose party date, time, or theme. Then, mag-decide na kayo anong kakainin nyo, anong iinumin nyo. Then, decide on mga party activities na gagawin nyo. Then, cost estimation. And gagawa na rin kayo ng mga party invites. Next, we have the preparation. Under that, you need to send the invites. Bibili na kayo ng mga food and beverages nyo. Then, magbubook kayo ng venue. Then, if ever, kung gusto nyo ng party playlist, you have to create it na. Then, execution. Under that, you arrive at the venue para mag-set up. Then, after ng set up, you welcome nyo na yung mga guests nyo. Nag-enjoy kayo ng party. Then, clean up after party. The last is follow up. Under that, you have to thank the guests for coming. Follow up a survey and discuss improvements for the next year. So, that is an example of company holiday, example of work breakdown structure or schedule. So, dapat doon ay makikita yung mga step-by-step approach nyo kung paano nyo gagawin or i-execute ng isang activity. Or in this lesson is yung project planning. Dapat planado, yun, yung objectives nyo malinaw, mission nyo malinaw, para ma-execute nyo rin siya sa mga employee nyo. Thank you.
The next topic we'll be discuss is project scheduling. So what is project scheduling? Scheduling in project management is the listing of activities, deliverables, and milestones within a project. A schedule also usually includes a planned start and finish date, task duration, and resources assigned to each activity. Effective project scheduling is a critical component of successful time management. Project schedule is also a list of required tasks along with the time and the resources needed that will help you arrive at your destination as planned. Project scheduling is an important skill for any project manager, even if you think it is really simple project. So when people discuss the processes for building a schedule, they are usually referring to the first 6 processes of time management. So these are the 6 processes of time management. First, plan schedule management. Plan schedule management is a document that details how a project schedule will be created, managed, and monitored. It is also includes an information that will serve as guide in the project about scheduling processes. Second, defining project activities. Third, sequence activities. Fourth, estimate resources. Fifth, estimate durations. And the last one is develop the project.
So, upon knowing the processes for building a schedule, alamin naman natin kung bakit kailangan ng project scheduling at ano nga ba ang mga purposes nito. But before that, I have a question. Can you imagine starting a long car trip to an unfamiliar destination without a map or a navigation system? You're pretty sure you have to make some turns here and there, but you have no idea when and where. So essentially, driving without an idea of how you're going to get there is the same as working on a project without a schedule. Project scheduling is just as important as cost budgeting as it determines the timeline, resources needed, and reality of the delivery of the project. When you think of a project schedule, you might think of something simple. So from its own words, it is a process or an act of creating your project scheduled. No matter the size or scope of your project, the schedule is a key part of project management. That's why we have the purposes of project scheduling. First, we have shows the relationship of each activity to others and to the whole project. Because you mean a project schedule that is specific, definitive, collaborative, and organized, you need to communicate with everyone on the team and everyone responsible for the task that they need to do. You also need to make sure that everyone is achieving the goals that you have set. Breaking projects into individual tasks is essential in the task prioritization process. By listing all tasks that the team is about to perform, you can easily determine their criticality. Scheduling allows all parties to be on the same page throughout the project's duration, which minimizes the risk of conflicts. Second, identifies the precedence relationships among activities. Like what Ms. Ann Abuan discussed, project scheduling is a process. Precedence relationship is when one activity cannot start until another activity is finished. Meaning, you must perform step by step in order for the project to be completed. And since it is a schedule, you will have the timeline that needs to be followed. If you're building a house, for example, you cannot put the roof on until the frame is completed. Third, we have encourages the setting of realistic time and cost estimates for each activity. Since we are to reduce and estimates the cost and time in doing a project schedule clearly outlines all to do, work in progress, and work waiting for next steps tasks. Notifying team members about tasks they are about to complete or can complete simultaneously often makes them spend less time on those tasks. And while scheduling a project, you take into consideration the resources that each task requires. Having a clear outline of all tasks helps team members use those resources more effectively, which often results in reducing cost. Last, we have helps make better use of people, money, and material resources by identifying critical bottlenecks in the project. When creating a project schedule, you can establish and define long and short-term project goals for the team. By providing a clear direction to all team members and ensuring they always know what to do, you can improve their productivity and set standards for the project. You may find yourself analyzing each step and determining potential project risks.
So now let's move on to scheduling techniques that will surely help you to achieve your goals. First is to ensure that all the activities are planned for. Simply make sure all the activities are defined and planned. Next is their order of performance is accounted, so the order of performance is documented. And the next one is the activity time estimates are recorded. It needs to estimate time accurately if you're going to deliver your project on time and protects against delays, so the estimated time required to finish the task is recorded. Overall project time is developed.